Hi, everyone. This is Raquel.
Hi, and this is Jennifer.
Welcome to Madness Cafe.
This is a feminist podcast where we talk about women's issues, politics, and health and wellness.
And where those issues intersect. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the podcast. This is Raquel, and we have very special guests with us today. We have Jes and DeAngelo from the Instagram Michigan Date Ideas. And this is pretty fantastic. We're very excited to have them on the show. I'll tell you guys a little bit about them. DeAngelo was born and raised in Michigan, but Jessica wasn't. She actually came to Michigan for grad school and met DeAngelo at a party. So apparently going on dates with DeAngelo is how Jessica learned about and came to love Michigan. And they've been married almost 3 years now. You guys' anniversary is this month, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Perfect.
October 21st.
Oh, early happy. That's so awesome. And they have a beautiful, beautiful little 1-year-old baby, Mac. Oh,
Baby.
cutest little thing.
Yeah.
Guys, check out the Instagram page. You'll see pictures of Mac. He honestly is the cutest baby ever. So having a new baby combined with the pandemic really forced them to get more creative about date night. And that's how their Instagram page came about. We're going to talk about their page and the great date ideas that they come up with and pretty much anything and everything having to do with all that. So Jes and DeAngelo, thank you so much for being on the podcast.
Absolutely.
Thanks for having us. This is
Awesome.
fun.
I'm super excited because you two are my first celebrity crush. I've been following you on Instagram. And one of the reasons I follow you is that I also live in Michigan and we have gone to a lot of similar places. And I always watch your Instagram and I would go, oh, I want to go there. Love it so much. On your Instagram, it says, keeping the magic alive, one date at a time. What does that mean to the two of you?
I actually got that kind of tagline from Ann Arbor Observer because she contacted us and was like, we want to do an interview because we're like really inspired about how you guys like keep the magic alive. And I was like, that is what we're doing. And so just keeping things fresh by doing new things together. I think for me, like quality time is my love language. So anything we do that's like new or together like speaks to me.
Yeah. And I think a big part of keeping a relationship, alive and strong is having fun with each other.
Yeah.
And,
So cool.
going on dates is how you first start to bond with each other in a way that's fun. And a lot of our dates on her page that you'll notice, especially if you look earlier on, are like activities or outdoors, because Jessica made this page when the pandemic lockdown started. And what's the traditional date we all think of? Dinner and a movie.
Right.
All of a sudden you couldn't go to the movies and you couldn't go out to dinner.
Right.
So we had to get creative and really found a new appreciation for hanging out.
And like we wanted to inspire other couples too, because I think part of having a new baby is like redefining your relationship too. But we thought there's other people going through redefining their relationships right now with this lockdown. And maybe they can just check this page once in a while and think, oh, let's do this to reconnect this weekend and make their relationship a little bit better.
I think that's lovely that you guys are doing that. And I mean, and even for people who aren't redefining their relationship, just having other ideas of things to do together. And whether it's, just the two of you as a couple or, people with their families and, visiting local businesses and that sort of thing. I just think that's really awesome that y'all are bringing attention to all that. So kudos to you guys. I mean, I had great ideas for stuff and I'm not even dating anybody. I was just like, I want to go.
I was just talking to him about that in the car. We're like, I hope other people are like looking at this and thinking of like friend date ideas. And sometimes I post mom dates or like baby dates. Yeah, because dating, you date a lot of different people in different ways,
Exactly. Exactly. Or even dating yourself, going on a spa date, going on an ice cream date.
Self-care, yeah.
Exactly. Yes, very definitely self-care for sure. I like that.
one of my favorite ones you posted was when you did the mom date exercise group and you're like, dang, this was tough. But I was thinking that it is really kind of a redefining point in your life as a couple. How has the baby, your beautiful baby, affected your dating and regular relationship?
Oh, that's a good one.
It makes spontaneity harder.
Yeah.
We have to plan ahead. But something that I think we've talked about before, like a reason that we really like Ann Arbor, is because it's easy for something spontaneous to happen. So we might say, well, let's just go get something to eat. But then there's this museum here, or there's this cool event happening outside.
Lots of walkability here, which makes things a little easier with a baby. Yeah. And then also, I think separating, like we do so much stuff with Mac, the three of us, and we love that. But we drifted away from doing just the two of us. And once Mac was like a little older, and we were like comfortable having a babysitter over, we were like, wow, we can talk to each other. Like, it was just like coming up for air almost. Not to say he's not a huge blessing. It's been lovely, but it's also just like, I think given us more appreciation when we have one-on-one time for like, oh, I actually like talking to you and spending time with you.
Was that a difficult transition for you guys to make, to kind of go from, being parents and being a unit of three and then going, oh, let's have time with just the two of us and then kind of reconnect? Was that kind of an odd transition for y'all?
I think there's a little bit of guilt in it sometimes.
Yeah, I feel like when we go out without him, I often feel like we're like leaving him behind. I'm like,
or I'm having fun and I'm like, I think I want to stay out longer.
Yeah. Yeah. Is that bad? We don't want to go back right now.
Well, I don't have kids, but I would dare say that that's probably not a bad thing. I mean, having been a kid, I think it's when parents have their own identity and do their own things, it's just, I don't know, you become full humans to your kids. So I'm not going to give you grief about that at all.
Yeah. I think the biggest guilt trip we had was when we planned a baby moon, but then the pandemic hit. So it pushed out and it actually happened when we already had the baby. So it was our first time leaving him for, was it 4 nights or 3 nights?
4 nights, yeah.
And we thought, oh my gosh, he's like gonna be upset or like he's gonna miss us. And we came back and he looked at us like, oh, hey. And we were like, oh, I guess we didn't have to feel bad. Like as long as he's fed, he's fine.
Exactly. He's like, oh, where you been?
Yeah.
It's you two again. Yeah. That's so cute. Recently, you all got over 1,000 followers. How did that feel?
It's fun. I definitely try not to focus too much on how many followers, because it gets to the point where you just kind of like, oh, I lost one or I gained one, and and that's not the main reason we started this. We don't have social media pages, by the way, so that's another reason we started this, because we can archive our dates for ourselves, and if we ever get new phones or something, we don't have to like.
Neither of us make posts like on just like personal social media pages. But my favorite part about the Instagram thing, and I told you from the beginning, is like, even if we had 0 Instagram followers, it's still cool to like be able to look back years from now and see all the fun we had together.
Yeah, especially with Mac, like, and how fast he's growing and changing. It's nice to have these little like reels and stuff.
Yeah, it's like your own digital photo album, sort of.
Yeah. But it is fun to get more followers, and then you start getting free stuff, which is kind of cool.
Tell us about free stuff.
We just actually came from like this Indian restaurant called India Cafe, and this foodie page, Jang at Food and Fun Adventures, invited us, and they basically just like handed out all this free food, and we're like, we just hope you take pictures and post it. And this is the first time we've been to something like that, and I was like, does everybody get this all the time? Like, why are we paying for food?
That's so awesome.
Yeah,
such a great thing.
I love that.
Yeah, so it's fun.
One thing that I really like about you guys' page is bringing attention to, small businesses and local businesses. And it almost feels like you guys are building not just community with your followers, but you're basically bringing on the entire state of Michigan. Like, you're introducing people to all of these great places that they
Treasures.
Yeah.
that they thought of. Yeah, like these great sort of hidden treasures, or things that people wouldn't think of as places to even explore. So how do you guys pick some of the places that you go to?
Well, I'm glad you said that, because that's really important to me, because being from California, I think California already has a reputation of being fun. And when you say you're from Michigan or you live in Michigan, people are like, well, what do you do? Like, especially being from California, where like they think they live in the most fun state. They're like, oh, well, what is it that you do now? I'm like, a lot of the same things, actually. And it's still really fun. So I do like to showcase, like, we have fun. Like, there's a lot of stuff to do here. The 4 seasons, I think it just keeps things interesting. Like, as soon as you get bored with the heat, you get a change in color and you get fall. And as soon as you start wanting to play with snow, it's here. And so it's like, I think it's easy to showcase Michigan dates because they're constantly changing, and you're not going to be feeling like you have to post the same thing over and over again.
That's awesome.
Do you think you'll run out of places in Michigan to post, or do you keep, like, how do you find the new ones, the unique things?
I don't think you're ever going to run out.
That's just like, I'm even before I had this page, I'm just like always looking for stuff to do. So that was, I don't know. That's just
you
how
have an
I
eye
am.
for fun.
I just, you're like that. I think women are kind of like that. We're like
each other. It's so awesome. I can see the love. I love it.
Thanks.
Like, I just want to hang out with y'all in person. Like, I want to go on one of these, like group dates with y'all.
On a group date.
Yeah, let's do
I'm
it.
just
And
inviting
see if
myself.
they make it free.
Of course, I have to get back to Michigan to do that, but I'm inviting myself. So
Nice. Sure, come on.
Well, you said you didn't really get on there to get followers, and that wasn't really important to you. What was the goal? What do you envision the future like?
Well, I wanted to do something I was good at. Like, I just kind of wanted to take on something.
Just a project.
I wanted to do a pet project. And like,
I remember you said, I have all these
and
ideas.
I'm like, I don't know what I'm good at. And then he was like,
all these ideas, but I never know what to do.
Yeah.
Well, I said, well, that's your talent, like having
make
ideas.
a page with ideas. Yeah.
awesome.
And I was like, okay, I will. And I was like, well, I don't really know what's gonna happen with that, or like, what's gonna become of this? And he was like, does it really matter? Like, you like posting ideas and you like sharing ideas, so just
you like coming up with ideas and you like going on dates. Just see what happens.
So I don't have like a grand plan.
I wanted to ask you all how it strengthened your relationship, but I can clearly see it visually in front of me right now. I don't even need to ask. It's clear. It's pretty awesome.
Well, for people who are listening as opposed to watching, then what would you say to them, for people who are just sort of hearing this on Spotify or on Apple Podcasts?
Well, I think I was excited to do it when I thought about it, because I was like, oh, I'll be able to entice him on more outings. He's kind of a homebody.
It's kind of like holding you accountable. It's like hold us accountable.
We have to go out because I have to make a post.
I mean, I do think it's one of those things. I have a daughter who's 21, and she's been dating her boyfriend for on and off since high school. So 5 years now. Wow. And mostly on, just every once in a while, a little off. And her biggest complaint is that they don't really go on dates. Netflix and maybe out to dinner, maybe hanging out at someone's house. And I know the pandemic had a lot to do with it. That is her biggest complaint. She's like, I want him to plan a picnic in the park and take me on a walk.
I know.
Those kind of things.
Yeah. I'm hoping more men, you can see your like breakdown of who follows you. I'm hoping to reach more men, because I think it'll make their lives easier. Because I think that's a lot of our expectation is like, read my mind and plan this amazing thing that I'm thinking about.
Right. And your mind is impossible.
Yes. And
but we all expect it.
Yeah.
Put it out there. I know I expect people to just know what is going to make me happy and what I want.
Yes.
Turn it out there.
And maybe if it's just laid out on a page, they might think, okay, that looks like something she would like. Let me take her there, versus like having to do all that legwork and research.
Yeah.
Nice.
DeAngelo, did you feel pressure early on to come up with date ideas when you were first dating before all this started, or how did that go in the
You were good at that.
Yeah, I feel like I didn't feel pressure to come up with date ideas. I felt like, okay, I know these things will be pretty good. I know her interests. But I feel like at a certain point I kind of ran out of ideas.
Yeah.
But you never did, you know?
I kind of took it from there.
Yeah.
Well, so Jessica, do you ever feel now like that it all kind of falls on you? Like, oh, now I have to plan all the ideas because I came up with this page. Now, you know.
I think it's actually opposite, because I get so into it that I sometimes forget that sometimes he wants to stay home. And I'm like, we're going to go do this.
We had the
at home
date that one time.
Yeah, so that's something I'm trying to incorporate too, is like some at-home date time.
Mm-hmm. Oh, like the blocks that y'all made?
Yeah, like stuff like that, because it's fun for both of us. But
the Italian date at home.
The blocks was one, and then we did an Italian themed like destination date where we made Italian food and then watched an Italian movie, and that was actually a page who curated that for us, and
nice.
that was one of his
we painted
favorite
too.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we did paint. Yeah.
We have so much fun. I want to do all this.
It's funny because I was going through you guys' page, and you know, of course, it's called Michigan Date Ideas, but I don't live in Michigan anymore.
But
I don't know if you guys know the connection.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Jennifer and I are friends from high school, and so I used to live in Michigan, but I live in Georgia now, and so I know some people are going to listen to this and think, okay, this is Michigan Date Ideas. We don't live in Michigan. But what kind of occurred to me is this has given me lots of really great ideas of things that I can do here, and like all these cute little towns that are outside of the Atlanta area, because you know there's more to Georgia than just Atlanta. So it kind of makes me think I think
the page is kind of a motivation to find those things, because you know, like, all right, we've made a post about this and that, we need something new. What's this little place we've never heard of? And it gives you like a motivation to go check it out when you otherwise wouldn't have.
Mm-hmm.
That's totally what drew me to the page, because I like to explore also. I do it a little more through running and stuff like that. But once I started seeing all your posts of all the places I had been, I'm like, okay, I got to follow, because I want to see where else they're going to go in Michigan, which is cool. What was I'm super curious, what was your very first date like? Before any of this happened, you guys first met, you went on your first date. What was that like?
The best date ever.
That
was like, that's when I was like, okay, I want to see this guy again, because it was like the most thoughtful, most planned out date. And he talked to me on the phone for like maybe an hour, like the week before. And when we went on a date, I was like, oh my gosh, he was like listening.
That's the best. A man who listens.
Yeah.
That's the best.
DeAngelo, can you just clone yourself? Or if you have any older male relatives who are single, you know.
Raquel.
Okay.
It's like, all right.
So I like to paint. Like, I don't do it professionally, but I just do it to unwind.
Sure.
And so he took me to one of those paint and pour places.
Nice.
And he brought us chocolate covered strawberries that he made the night before. And that was like this deal syndrome, because he was like, I made these for us. And I was like, and it was just really sweet. And we had a great time. And actually at the time I didn't know that he didn't drink, but I was like, you know, like it was all for me. I was just having the best time. And later he was like, yeah, I don't paint and I don't drink, but here you go.
So he did it all for you.
Yeah.
That's great. That's a great story.
That's very sweet. Tell me about the reaction that you guys have gotten from the community. And I mean, you mentioned, you know, now places are saying, hey, come on in, we'll give you the stuff, just take pictures and talk about it. Aside from that, like, what's the reaction that you guys are getting from the community about just bringing awareness to all these great places in Michigan?
Well, I've written a couple articles for a local women's magazine called Brick. And I've always liked that magazine, but I never thought I'd actually be selected to write for them. And so I was just really honored that they wanted us to contribute a piece about dating in Washtenaw County and giving ideas. And I think I even talked a little bit about active
The
versus,
theme was like activity.
yeah, active versus passive, like dating. Like you're probably into this, Jennifer, because you run, but just like getting physical fitness involved with dating, I think was really helpful for us. Just the endorphin boost and trying something new, and then also feeling good about like, okay, we didn't just eat, and you can feel
100%.
really good about,
yeah,
moving your body and stuff. That's been one positive thing from the community, is like people are like, well, what else do you have to say, and I've enjoyed that part.
Well, that rolls into the question. I really wanted to see if the two of you had any insight about this. Raquel and I call this Madness Cafe podcast, and we say it's a feminist podcast. Do you have any idea why we thought it would be exciting to have a couple on the feminist podcast?
Why?
Because I think what you were just talking about, not being passive, but more so in terms of a relationship, about actually having intentionality about creating a wonderful, fulfilling, connected relationship, to me really speaks to feminism, because I believe that it's what women need and want, and creating those solid relationships, it's great for men and women and our children. So I think it's a feminist issue. I also think it's a health and wellness issue. And that's one of the reasons why I was super excited about having the two of you on, because I've never really talked to someone before who put such intention into creating the relationship. And I think the more intentional we get about what we do for our jobs, what we do with our children, what we do in our relationships, the intentional creates that which we are seeking. And I just think you guys are an amazing role model of that. I have, what do they call it? Hashtag couple goals. When I look at the two of you, I have the hashtag couple goals, because I think it's really intentional. And I think that a lot of people could learn from what you're doing. It doesn't have to be dating. It could be something else. It could be an intentional link in communication in the relationship, or some people choose religion. It could be an intentional connection in their religion within their relationship. It doesn't really matter, but you're creating that which you desire. And I just think that's amazing. And I do think it's a feminist issue.
Yeah,
like
making time for and prioritizing your relationship does wonders for your mental health. I think it's I talk to him more than anybody in the world, right? So I don't want it to be an argument, because it's too exhausting. So the person you talk to the most in the world, you should put something towards that.
Exactly. Yeah. Have you ever gone on a date and on one of these date ideas and gotten into a fight in the middle of it, or an argument or something like that?
Yeah.
Have we?
I mean, like little stuff.
Yeah.
Well, it doesn't look like that on Instagram.
Yeah, no, for sure. I can't think of an exact. I feel like we've even left stuff before and been like, we're not having fun. It's just.
I don't know. I think that the biggest thing would be like, if we went to a restaurant and the food was really bad and we just didn't post about it. If we have a bad time, we don't make a post. We just keep it positive.
Oh, well, that's good. Because you don't want to. Because they may have just been having a bad night, or
right.
Maybe y'all were just having a bad night, and you're like, I don't want to bring anybody else down.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah, she's never made a post of like, we had our hopes up for this place, but it just wasn't so great. We don't post those.
That's awesome. One thing that I thought of, and especially with this being something that you guys started during the pandemic, is that so many people feel so isolated during the pandemic, and even before the pandemic. It's easy to kind of get in your head and just get caught in that whole go to work, go home, go to work, go home, and you don't really get involved in the world outside, or you don't feel a connection. And that's one thing that I really like about y'all's page and what you're doing, is that you're actually building relationships with your community as well. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's not just, oh, Jes and DeAngelo go on this great date and they have a great time. You're actually talking about this business or a local park, or like all the hikes that you guys do and that sort of thing. So it's almost like the community is part of your relationship.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Small
That's a good
business
point.
ownership. I don't own a small business, but it's hard. And I have so much respect for the people who do run a small business. So when I go in some place and they show me or us a great time and a great product or something like that, I do want to post about it, because I feel like we owe our community that, is like lifting them up and the hard work that they do. And maybe they don't have all the tools of like marketing of a big company, but the small posts, I think, make a difference for sure.
Yeah,
I agree. I think they do. How did your family react to the Instagram?
Oh, my mom follows me, and for a while she was like my only follower when I first started. And I was reading blog posts about like how do you get people to see your page, and like I think one of them was like, what do you do when your only follower is your mom? And I was like, ooh, that's mine. Yeah, so they've been supportive, and then my mom made my dad make an Instagram to follow my page.
We got two.
Yeah.
I love that.
That's so great. That's a supportive family.
Yeah.
Angela, what about your family? How do they feel?
So I think
Your mom
the
follows
biggest
you.
one that chimes in is my mom, who follows her. And she always comments like, oh, I want to go on that. And oh, I didn't know that was the thing.
Yeah.
Like she'll always say, I didn't even know that existed. And my mom's lived in the Ann Arbor area for like 20 years. And we're just discovering stuff that, she never even knew about. I think that that's probably true for a lot of people who follow your page in our area, is that even if they've lived for a long time, maybe they didn't know about this.
Something
Yeah,
new.
they can discover something new, and a new way to have fun and enjoy themselves and enjoy their partnership. Yeah.
Well, I've also noticed that every time I comment on your posts, which is fairly often, you always respond back to me, which is so cool. I love that.
Yeah,
I
try to do
I
that.
think that's one reason I have a celebrity crush. But do you respond to every single comment you get?
I try to. Yeah. Sometimes I don't see them right away, but I try to. Yeah. And I'm a fan of your page too. I don't know if you've talked about your page on the podcast yet, but I was just like, what is this page? Because it was like not light and it wasn't superficial. It was about, a lot of your posts are about caregiving, which I haven't done, but my mom did for my grandma for a long time. And so some of the stuff you were saying, I was like, I remember when she was saying things like this, and hearing them again, it was like, okay, this is real. Like people are going, through these emotions and through these highs and lows, and there's really good days and then there's bad days. And I just appreciate that you highlight something that's so real and raw and not just like superficial on your page. So I enjoy following yours too.
Oh, thank you. That's so kind. I wonder a lot of times I have two daughters at home, and I wonder what they will think about this caring for their grandmother when they get older, like how that will affect their lives. So I'm glad to see that you're doing well with it, because hopefully that will carry through, because some of it's tough and some of it's really nice. It's a mixed bag.
Tagging on to that, do you guys think about what it'll be like for Mac looking back on your page and his involvement in this, and then maybe how it's going to grow as he gets older?
I see a lot of people on Instagram, like, and they put the smiley face over their kid. And I thought about that. I didn't post about him for a while at first. And then I was like, well, he's so cute.
I know, I feel the same way about my kids.
And I just want to have these memories with, I do try to think like, would this be embarrassing?
Yeah, I think we talk about that. Like, we never want to post him like something that he'd be embarrassed of later,
like in the bathtub or something like that. I wouldn't do
so
that.
kind. That's so kind.
Yeah.
They get to an age where they tell you. They will say,
Mm.
for now, if ever I go do anything with my kids, my daughter just went through homecoming. I had to have every single picture approved before I could post anything. So that's okay.
Fair. Yeah.
I think it's fair. And there's very few of my teenager now because she really doesn't want to be on my social media so much.
Okay.
That's okay. I
Yeah.
still take the pictures. I still have them.
Yeah. I guess once he's old enough to kind of think about it for himself, I'll probably check with him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think you don't even have to ask. I think they just tell you one day. They're
Really?
like,
Okay.
Mom, stop posting pictures of me that I didn't approve.
Jessica, you noted in your bio, we mentioned that you came to Michigan for grad school.
To be honest, when I first came to Michigan, I didn't like it. I wasn't, I think grad school is stressful. So I blamed that on Michigan, I think, at first. And meeting him and going on dates with him is how I started to realize this place is cool.
Yeah,
there's things to do that aren't grad school here.
Yeah.
And I think, I live in Ann Arbor. A lot of students went to U of M, and I think they kind of underestimate Michigan, the out-of-state ones sometimes that come because they're in school and it's hard and it's all consuming.
Just associated with the work.
And I'm hoping maybe I can get some student followers eventually, like to see that, there's things to do outside of campus. And sometimes that brings a lot of stress relief, is to do something different that's not around the same people all the time.
Yeah, it surprises me so much because there's so many things around here with the hay rides and pumpkins and apple orchards and haunted houses. And this is like the perfect time of year for students, if you ask me.
Yeah.
I love it. Fall is the best in Michigan.
It is. It's the best season.
So good.
I know.
This time of year doesn't get any better.
I know. I love it.
Wow. Well, maybe if I'd known about even half of that stuff when I was in high school, maybe I would have gone to college in Michigan and maybe I would have stayed. So that might be, either drawing people to Michigan or keeping people there. So
Michigan's amazing. There's so much to do. It's beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
And regional, that's kind of why I said Michigan date ideas, because a lot of what we do is in Ann Arbor because that's where we live and it's just accessible. But I do try to explore because the culture and stuff is different in different regions, and there's like so much to do in West Michigan, and there's so much stuff to do in Northern Michigan. And Detroit is its own entity with its own stuff going on too. So it's like there's a lot to be explored here.
I think one of your big exploration discoveries was something that you thought you'd only have in California, which was the beaches.
Yeah.
You didn't know there were beaches
They're
here.
so great here.
They're beautiful.
What's your favorite beach so far?
Holland State Park.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I love just walking along the harbor down to the beach. So you get both, you get the beach and the harbor scene. So pretty.
Yeah.
No.
It's a different kind of beach. The Great Lakes versus the ocean. It's a different kind, but it's still
Yeah.
Still beautiful.
Are there beaches in Georgia?
There are down near the coast, and I'm in the Atlanta area, the metro area. So I'm completely landlocked. I mean, there's like a couple of lakes like fairly close to Atlanta, but as far as coastal stuff, like you really have to go down to Savannah or like Tybee Island and all that. So it's about 4 hours away, maybe.
Okay.
4.5 hours away to get to Savannah. So it's doable for sure.
Okay.
But it's, I mean, that's something that I need to explore. I mean, like I said, I mean, you guys have kind of gotten the wheels going in my head of things that I can explore here in Georgia, because there's definitely more to Georgia than just Atlanta and Savannah, right? I mean, there's all this stuff in between, and there's all these like small towns outside, and there's the mountain areas, which are beautiful. And so this time of the year, it's gorgeous because the leaves are changing. And it's so pretty and it's very hilly and all that. But I never think about exploring any of it. But
she's trying to sell us on Georgia. That's what I hear.
Yeah,
only a tiny bit. But you guys have prompted me to think, I need to plan a trip back up to Michigan so I can see some of the stuff that you guys have posted about. You guys might see me wandering around Ann Arbor sometime.
Yeah, that would be great. Like, I hope that one day our page grows to a point that people are like, I'm coming to Michigan, let me check this page and get some ideas. You know,
Yeah.
I know we have mostly Michigan followers, but that's something that what you brought up makes sense. Like, we could get followers who are just interested in Michigan too. And
Yeah, I think that's fantastic.
Do the two of you have a date, like a dream date that you have never done that is like the ultimate, that's on your list of, I want to do this?
Ooh.
That's a good question, Jennifer.
I don't. I feel like it'll.
I guess I don't, but I think sometimes there's like a slow burn. We have dates where we see a place and we're like, oh, we should go on a date there. And then for like years we don't, because everyone else have this like, we should go there, but then you don't go there for like 3 years.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Finally get around to it and you feel so good about yourself. Like, we've been talking about this for X amount of time and now we're finally here. So we definitely have those, like, we have dates we're looking forward to that we haven't done yet, but I don't know if we have an ultimate.
Okay.
Very
Do you have
good.
an ultimate date, Raquel?
Oh, wait, here in Georgia?
No, just
Just
like
in general?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's your ultimate
Oh,
date?
you know what? I will say, because I mean, there's probably like a million of them. The idea that you guys had, or the post you guys had with the lanterns,
Oh, that looked good. Yeah.
Oh,
that
yeah.
was breathtaking. So
And they do that in every state, I think. I think they tour.
that is a good thing to know, because I should look into that. But
What
yeah,
was that called?
yeah,
I think it was called Lantern Fest.
Lantern Fest. Okay.
I mean, the pictures that y'all took were just so pretty of that, and the lanterns just floating in the sky, and just that looked absolutely beautiful. So something like that would be really lovely, I think.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
You'll
What
have to
about you,
send us
Jennifer?
pictures if you ever go.
I will for sure. Although I don't know if they'll look as good as the pictures that you guys take. You guys' pictures are really very good.
Yeah.
So whoever's taking the
Yeah.
pictures,
We're trying. Yeah, we're working on that.
They look great.
you're doing a great job.
My dream date, I've had this for a while. My family goes to Cancun once a year. We didn't in the pandemic, but before that. And there is this little boat that's in the marina of a place called La Isla. It's just this really small boat that has a man or a woman who's running it. And then you sit down and you have dinner on the boat as you go out and watch the sunset. And then and I have wanted to do that for probably 10 years, but I've just not really had the right person with me. I've had my kids. I'm not going to take my kids on that boat.
Yeah.
But one day I will get on that boat.
That's good that you know that. I feel like there are some dates we've been on where we've brought Mac and we're like, this is not the right decision.
I think food and kids can be very difficult because they might not like the food, or they don't sit still long enough, or that
It's not their scene. It's,
yeah.
Even
Even my 15-year-old doesn't like to go out to eat.
Really?
Yeah, no, she doesn't.
Okay.
My 21-year-old does. She will try anything and I mean, we're both vegetarian, but other than that, we've gone to all kinds of really amazing restaurants and tried all kinds of food, and that's been way fun. But my 15-year-old, no way.
I have kind of a different take on that, because
Go for it, Raquel.
I think it's awesome that you guys do take Mac on a lot of this stuff, and I'll be interested to see how it goes as he gets a little bit older.
Yeah.
Because my mom didn't take me and my brother out to dinner a lot when we were little kids. So that experience was a little different. But like, I used to work in a fairly high-end restaurant here in town. And, there's a couple who comes in, they would bring their son with them, and their son was maybe, I don't know, 10 or something. I mean, eating like a very sophisticated palate for a 10-year-old, right?
Yeah.
And I just thought, and the kid really dug it. And I thought, okay, that's pretty cool.
It is cool.
Yeah, that this kid is being introduced to this kind of stuff. I mean, who knows? I mean, maybe now he's like, okay, get me out of here. I only want, like pizza and French fries. But
Yeah.
I just think it's kind of neat that y'all are bringing your son into this, all the different atmospheres. I mean, not necessarily like on a boat, with, you know, some new
Right.
I think it's really neat that you're bringing him on a lot of these things that people think, oh, this is, you know, I'm not going to bring my kid to this place.
Yeah. And also
try.
modeling this intentional dating in your relationship,
Mm,
which I think is amazing.
yeah.
Just showing them how it could be done.
It was actually cute the other day because I don't know where we went, but we were getting him out of the car seat, but we stopped to like give each other a kiss. And then he goes, like he knows it's
Aw.
his kiss. It's like, oh, that's so sweet. He kind of knows that
And then he
we
laughed.
love each other.
And then he
Yeah.
laughed
Yeah.
after.
I love
Yeah.
that. Oh, that's
The best gift right there. Right
Yeah.
there. That's the best gift.
if you guys had this ultimate idea for Michigan date ideas for what you're doing now with this page, what's the ultimate sort of pie in the sky dream that you guys have for it?
I just hope it has a positive impact on people's relationships. I think that's what would make it the most meaningful to me. I think at one point I posted a post that said, like, I hope this sprinkles a little bit of fairy dust on your relationship. And that's really what I'm hoping that we're doing, is inspiring people to have fun, but then that fun translates to just building trust and building a stronger, more healthy relationship for sure.
Yeah. Well, you've already had an impact on me because I really believe in order to have what you want, you have to be able to vision it. And you have put a very clear vision for me. I wasn't joking when I said hashtag relationship goals. I mean, I only see what I see on Instagram, but what I see is a beautiful, loving couple that is very intentional about creating a life together. And that's what I hope to have one day. And so you've helped me put that into a vision. So I am going to draw that in. And so are you, Raquel.
Yes,
We're
I
gonna get
am.
there.
I am. I will get there.
So
for
that's
sure.
a really positive impact because I believe people have to have examples to get to the next level. And I feel like you all have a next level relationship.
I agree with Jennifer.
We've
on
had
that.
a lot of good examples, and I don't think everybody's been as fortunate as us with that. Like my parents are still together. My grandparents were together their whole lives.
As
My
were mine.
sister and her husband are still together. His parents are still together. And so I do hope that I can share that with other people that haven't just had all these examples, because I do think it's harder when you don't see people getting along.
Mhm. Very, very true. Well, thank you for sharing all that with the rest of us, because this is an example for those of us who didn't have that.
Yeah.
You know? So thank you for letting us have a little peek into the way that y'all are very specific about spending time together and, you know, strengthening your relationship and building your relationship with your family. And then, you know, as a family, and then with each other as a couple, that it's not just, well, now we have kids, that's all there is to it, right? Like,
Yeah.
you know, like you guys have to stay strong as a unit too.
Yeah. And I think a good date night to consider is a couples counselor. If, you know, you can support that in your finances. I mean,
That's a
it
good point.
sounds like, oh, we don't need that. Even if you're getting along, there are ways to get along even better and learn how to be in a better relationship. So that's just my PSAs.
Yeah.
No,
so
I
beautiful.
think it's a great idea.
Yeah, it's so beautiful.
That's
Yeah.
fantastic that you bring that up, because you're bringing it up in an air of, hey, even when things are going great, doesn't hurt, right?
No.
So
And it could be fun.
awesome.
Maybe don't wait until you're going to fight the whole time at this meeting, right? Like maybe go and think of it as a date. That's actually what we did when we did premarital counseling.
Yeah, we did premarital counseling. We're like, we're gonna get married, everything's great, but let's do this.
Yeah. And so it was nice to start fostering our relationship before we were even married and just finding out ways to communicate. That's actually what our counselor did, is she basically just had us talk to each other. And then if we had a disagreement, she would kind of be like, see, you know, coach us through, like, see if you can talk it, because I'm not always going to be here. See if you can talk amongst each other and actually get through this in a calm. That's called the Imago approach, by the way. So if you're looking for a counselor, look for Imago approach.
Nice.
really
I
helpful.
love that. Wow, that's good to know. So should I ever get in a relationship again, I will know. Yeah, I mean, that's very useful information. So thank you for sharing that with us. You know, and you're showing, like you said, that counseling isn't just, oh God, things are falling apart. Counseling is also
building.
Hey, things are great. Let's keep it that way and let's grow on it and let's build skills to keep things growing.
It's very intentional. That's what I love so much about the two of you. It's very intentional.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think that's going to be the word for this interview is intentional.
Intentional.
Yeah. This interview brought to you by the letter I. Sorry.
Was there anything that you wanted to talk about that we didn't ask you about?
We had no idea. I don't even listen to podcasts. I was so not prepared. I was like asking him because he's like the podcast guru.
What's a podcast?
Yeah. So I was like, what's the difference between an interview and a podcast? And he was like, you know, you have more of a conversation with podcasts. Like, oh, okay. So I don't have any.
Yeah, no, I had a blast. I had a lot of fun.
Oh, we're so glad. Well, thank you for having us be your first podcast that you're, you know, sort of opening yourself up to. So there's a whole world out there of podcasts. I think more interviews are going to be coming y'all's way because y'all are doing some really awesome work. And the more it gets out there, the more people are going to, you know, want to talk to you guys and, you know, and just be a part of your energy. So thank you for sharing all that.
Well, I can say the same thing about you guys. This has been really fun. And I definitely felt like there was a nice dialogue going back and forth. So thank you.
Oh, so good.
Give their Instagram one more plug where people can find them. Yes.
Michigan Date Ideas on Instagram.
Yeah. So people get all your friends from Georgia so they have some
yes. And you know, people who are listening from everywhere else, go to Michigan, explore Michigan because Michigan's awesome. Even though I left, Michigan is still awesome and has a place in my heart.
It really is. It's such a beautiful state. And you're right about the seasons. The seasons are.
Well, and if you're listening from Georgia, tag me on your dates too, because maybe I need some inspo when I go back to Georgia someday. So tag me on that.
Exactly. There you go. Everybody pay attention. Wherever you are on your date ideas, tag Michigan Date Ideas.
Yeah. So always looking for inspiration.
Share the information, people. I love it. That's so great.
Thank you.
Well, y'all, thanks so much for being on the show. And early happy anniversary again.
Oh, thank you.
Anniversary.
Thank you. All right.
Thank you.
Raquel, that was no lie. They are totally hashtag relationship goals for me. I want to do something just like that. I mean, not exactly, but you know, my own version of just like that.
Right. Of, you know, being very, here's the word again, intentional about how they spend time with each other and put energy into each other, even though there's a baby now. Do you know what I mean? Because I mean, I know I've seen it where, you know, friends of mine, I know them as a couple and they're great. And then they have kids and they don't do anything just them anymore, or it like they cease to exist outside of their child, which I get. I just love it. And their energy is so great. And I love, and I didn't say this, I didn't even think of it, but the fact that Jessica was so open to exploring Michigan and loving it and not just like, oh God, I'm here for grad school and grad school's awful. Ugh, I hate Michigan. I mean, she embraced it. And so for somebody who moves to a new state, not knowing anything about it, and then you're like, oh, let me embrace this, let me learn some more. I think that's pretty awesome. And that, I should do a little more of that myself, actually.
All right, Raquel. That's a great way to end. Thanks so much for another great episode.
Awesome. All right. Bye.
Bye.
Thanks everyone for listening today. We will be back with more Madness Cafe next week. You can find us on Instagram at Madness Cafe Podcast or email us at madnesscafepodcast@gmail.com. Bye.